Surprise or no surprise, one of my primary interests is how a disciplined, self aware human should live, act, and choose under pressure across time, culture, and morality. Everything else typically is in service of that. So, this is reflected in my interest in different values, my code of conduct. We've talked about concepts like dharma. I'll link the episode to that below. First principles, and really understanding what it means to fulfill your duty, take right action, assume responsibility, exercise moral judgment under pressure, and how to live well when rules conflict with frameworks that hold up across times and cultures. This is the whole idea behind my dive into epics like the Mahabharata and my reflections on Stoicism. Everything kind of attaches to this, right? And this also shows up in how my archetype is in physically, whether it's this warrior philosopher ideal that is showcased in East Asian martial culture. So, not really interested in violence or dominance, but more so in discipline, strength, self mastery, restraint, capability, and power governed by ethics. And this ties into time, mortality, and scale because it is finite for us. Simultaneously, there is also deep time, which is cosmic and evolutionary, and legacy across generations. So, hopefully, showing up in a way that doesn't waste life. So, it's probably not super far off to see that I value action over theory, momentum over motivation, systems over willpower, and responsibility over excuses. And it also explains why I'm drawn to myths that encode truth, civilizational memory, and archetypes that survive centuries. These stories teach me how to act, not just to feel. And I think recently I've become very attuned to discernment of people, power, and presence, really understanding dominance versus grounded authority, reciprocity versus performance, who expands the room versus who consumes it, if that makes sense, and character, which I believe is always revealed through behavior. So, underlying all of this, including this podcast, is a desire to create something that lasts, to leave things better, and to unify experiences without being soft or cynical. And that's where my ambitions and ethics meet. So, this is a list of principles that I have in my code, and hopefully it's helpful for all of you. So, I'll just jump straight into it. The first thing, which I think is super important to me, is just stoicism. And there's no surprise there. Control the controllable. I'm looking at my Stoic Circle poster here, and it's very simple. You have power over your mind, nothing else. Once you realize this, you will find strength. That's not me, that's our boy, Emperor Marcus Aurelius, author of Meditations. So the world is chaos, and control is an illusion. Your response is your only domain. And true serenity is acceptance of fate plus disciplined will. So whenever I'm stressed, I simply ask myself, what's mine to control right now? Number two, we go to the east, to India, which is the Buddhist principle, and attachment is suffering. I've written at length and spoken about minimalism. Desire is the root of suffering. That's what the Buddha says. Pain isn't from loss, it's from clinging on to things. It's a really difficult thing to understand, but once you let go, you are so free. Peace is presence without possession. And so I try to enjoy fully, and I also release freely. It's love without ownership to things. It's just me. That's the only constant. And that has given me a lot of freedom, the minimalist mindset, this non-attachment to things, and really focusing on what matters, reducing my possessions as much as possible, and focusing on the intangibles. Coming up after that is Advaita Vedanta, which is all is one. It's a Hindu principle. Let me try this again. Tat Tvam Asi. Thou art that. The self, which is Atman, and the universe, Brahman, are not separate. So we are all one. It's a universal soul. Duality is an illusion. Enlightenment is remembering unity. So this ties into how cosmologists actually look at the universe. Like I think it was Carl Sagan that said that we are nothing but stardust, which is kind of nuts, right? At the Big Bang, there were these compounds that came out, and throughout history of the entire universe, everything that exists, stars, galaxies, humans, planets, creatures, we are just that stardust, different mixes of that, different mixes of atoms, which is absolutely mind boggling. So, that is a really grounding principle when you look at the universal scale of time and where we are. We are completely insignificant in the scale of the universe. Just look at the cosmic calendar. If the calendar year was mapped onto the history of the universe and the Big Bang was January 1st, and the planets and the galaxies and the dinosaurs and all that jazz happened throughout the rest of the months, you know where humans would pop up? December 31st, 11:59 p.m., and I think 56 seconds. It's absolutely insane. No one can fathom that. I cannot. After that, I really like Taoism. There's this principle called flow over force. Lao Tzu says, the soft overcomes the hard. And if you pay attention here, nature doesn't hurry, but everything is accomplished. So this is a great reminder to be present. It's effortless action aligned with reality. So move with rhythm, not resistance. Align. You don't need to fight everything. You can always kind of use the jiu-jitsu and judo principles. Flow with the force. Be water, as Bruce Lee says. And this takes us to this existential principle, which is freedom is responsibility. Man is condemned to be free. You are radically free. But freedom demands meaning making, I think. No one gives you purpose, you must invent it. And for me, discipline is freedom. When I take control of my day, when I do the things that I want to, that to me is ultimate freedom. I'm writing my own myth, and every act defines who I am. I'm actually looking at another poster here. It's from our boy Aristotle, and I'm just going to go ahead and read it. Excellence is never an accident. It is always the result of high intention, sincere effort, and intelligent execution. It represents the wise choice of many alternatives. Choice, not chance, determines your destiny. So we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. Virtue is trained, not innate. And flourishing is living in alignment with your potential. So if you build noble routines, they become your destiny. I must confess, I have been reading quite a bit of Nietzsche recently. Amor Fati caught my eye, right? Love your fate. No matter what, don't forget to enjoy life. You don't need to merely bear hardship, embrace it as your sculptor. There is power in saying yes to everything that shaped you, whether it was good or bad. So in the hard times, and it can be something as simple as holding a plank when it's just 30 seconds, I never ask for time to move faster because that's what life is made of, and you can never get it back after you spend it. You know, I'm all about the martial arts, so the Bushido principle from the samurai, death gives life meaning, ties in with this. Hagakure writes, the way of the samurai is found in death, and that's everything. You can live ready to die, and you live fully. Honor, loyalty, and self-mastery is greater than survival. So the whole concept here for the samurai was they make decisions as if they've already died once, without fear. So there is no real right decision. You just have to make the decision right. And you have to live with integrity, that you're staying authentic and honest to who you are. And the East really did influence quite a bit of my thinking. I'm looking at Confucius here. Harmony through virtue. To put the world in order, we must first put the nation in order. The heart must be set right. Outer chaos reflects inner disorder, and the superior man governs self first. Self-cultivation must be greater than external control. And, don't worry, I got some modern stuff in here too. I thought the scientific principle of reality is iterative is important. George Box wrote, all models are wrong, but some are useful. You know, Truth is provisional, and understanding evolves through testing. Certainty is arrogance, and curiosity is power. So for me, life is very much an experiment. I'm always measuring, okay? I'm refining and evolving and adapting. One of my good friends told me to keep, what is it? Strong opinions, but loosely held. So I will live my life to the best of my abilities with the information that I have at hand until or when there is something that proves otherwise. It's the same principle with the firefighting and emergency divisions with the emergency medical technicians. You go to the scene, you check if the scene is safe, and you act accordingly as more information is given to you. If you've been listening to this podcast, you know that I'm a fan of certain kinds of anti-heroes like Batman, and I think it's important to integrate the shadow, like Carl Jung says. Because until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Every saint has a shadow, and integration is power plus wholeness. So I don't deny the darkness anymore. I used to run away from it. Oh my God, this is like part of me. This is who I am. I can't believe this. I am not this person, but I am. So I'm not scared of that anymore. I don't deny it. I face the dragon and then I ride it. And I'm just going to do a quick tangent here with a quote from Jung, which is, "The world is full of people suffering from the effects of their own unlived life. They become bitter, critical, rigid, not because the world is cruel to them, but because they have betrayed their own inner possibilities. The artist who never makes art becomes cynical about those who do. The lover who never risks loving mocks romance. The thinker who never commits to a philosophy sneers at belief itself. And yet, all of them suffer because deep down they know the life they mock is the life they were meant to live." Let's see where we are. I think we're on principle 12, which is the humanist principle. Progress through empathy. I'm a humanist. I'm a transhumanist. I believe in the welfare of our species. And man is the measure of all things. That's what Protagoras says. Progress is built through understanding, not domination. Human dignity and creativity are sacred. It's what makes us human. So I always try to rule over my cynicism, still be realistic, and choose contribution and positivity. 13 is the Zen principle. No mind, no problem. Before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water, they say. And after enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. Enlightenment to me is an ordinary life lived with full presence. Being here, embracing the now, focusing on being present. Because the moment you stop seeking, you arrive. You are who you are seeking for. And simplicity, keeping it simple, stupid, is the highest sophistication. And that ties into the whole Epicurean principle, which is, if you wish to be rich, be content with little. The highest pleasure is peace of mind, not indulgence. When you desire less, you can enjoy more. Quality always over quantity. In food, relationships, career, ambition, whatever. And under all of this is the Hermetic principle, as above, so below. Because the universe is mental, the all is mind, and reality mirrors consciousness. The inner world shapes the outer world, and once you change your frequency, have the world and the universe reconfigure around you. And this ties into a unique honor code, right? Like never break oath. So if you say it, you do it. Never fear death. Your life's worth is measured by what you stand for, not for how long you stand. And never waste energy. Withdraw from low quality thoughts, places, and people. And again, the foundation of all of this is Eastern, the way, right? Dharm, Tao. To conquer the world, you must conquer the self. So we look at Bushido, and we've gone past principles now. I just want to go into a couple principles from Bushido. It's Gi, which is righteousness, doing what is right, not convenient. Yu, which is courage, acting without fear when duty calls. Jin, which is compassion, power must serve, not harm. Rei, which is respect, honor others, even in conflict. Makoto, sincerity, never deceive, be the same man in all rooms. Meio, which is honor, your name is your life. Chugi, loyalty, standing by those you lead and those who lead you. That's Bushido, the way of the warrior and samurai. And then I take it to Dharm, which is the warrior code, the code of life, ethics, principle, universal law in Dharmic religions of South Asia. The law of right action, which has ahimsa, there is strength in restraint, so avoid needless harm. Satya, which is speaking the truth that elevates. Tapas, which is enduring discomfort willingly for growth. Swadharm, which is following your calling, not imitation. And karm, which is acting without obsession over results, because excellence itself is the reward. And tying up my Eastern influences would be Taoism, the flow of nature. Wu Wei, which is do without force, align with timing. Tei, power through authenticity. And simplicity, because perfection is achieved when there's nothing left to take away. Okay? I've married that with very common Western virtues, the path of chivalry, because nobility, I think, is proven by conduct, not birth. And you'll see that through some of my podcast episodes where I talk about tragic heroes and how neglect and outcast systems, that has nothing to do with who you are as a person. So when we look at medieval chivalry, honor, defending your word as if it were your sword. Courtesy, treating all, peasant or queen, with dignity. Valor, seeking worthy challenges. I never want to beat someone when they're down. I want to beat them when they're at full strength. Loyalty, keeping faith even when others don't. Generosity, giving freely of time, attention, and guidance. And piety, living as through conscience or God is always watching you. Okay? And we take it back a little bit further to Stoicism. When we look at ancient Greece and Rome, amor fati, love what happens, no matter what it is, and use it as material for greatness. Memento mori, memento vivere. Live as if you could die today, and don't forget to live. Act accordingly. Virtue, wealth, fame, or power mean nothing without virtue and ethics. Control, dichotomy. Master what you can and accept what you cannot. That's the foundation of Stoicism. And ataraxia, which is inner calm amidst chaos. So important with everything that is thrown at us in daily life today. And then with the last part of the Western side, I would add our knightly ideals. Love, serving through compassion. Fortitude, courage in suffering. Temperance, power through moderation. And justice, which is equity even towards enemies. And while I was doing some research creating this code, I came upon some indigenous and tribal ideas on honor and harmony. The warrior's strength is the tribe's peace. So the Ubuntu in Africa say, I am because we are. Selfhood through service. The Lakota talk about respect, humility, generosity, wisdom, and bravery. The Maori talk about mana, which is integrity and spiritual power from keeping your word. And the Huna from Hawaii talk about how energy flows where attention goes. And some of these things have been adapted in the modern world. Technology changes, but virtue doesn't, right? So Nietzsche talks about being your own experiment, self-overcoming, becoming what you admire, destroy what weakens you, and create values, don't inherit them. Okay? Then we look at existentialism. Meaning isn't found, it's forged through choice, and live as if your actions write the laws of humanity. Then we look at humanist rationalism. Reason is sacred, emotion is a tool, truth over ideology, empathy over dogma. And then all of this is applied in the modern Stoic application. Optimize energy, input should be less than output, focus equals freedom, and discipline equals destiny. So what this means ultimately is, for me, 1, identity creates reality. You don't become what you want, you become what you believe. That's what Oprah says, okay? Every habit, project, and relationship either reinforces or erodes whatever identity you've created for yourself, your central operating system. Your power comes from being internally defined, externally expressed. So for me, I move with purpose, I create with discipline, and I lead with peace. Number 2, attention is the ultimate currency, because a man is rich in proportion to the number of things he can afford to let alone. That's Henry David Thoreau. Constant dopamine fragments your focus. So I create sanctuaries away from all this, attention sanctuaries where I can actually focus. Number 3 is energy before strategy. Tired minds don't plan well. Sleep first. That's our boy Naval Ravikant, the tech Buddha from Silicon Valley. I think you think best when you feel powerful. So optimize your physical engine, nutrition, recovery, movement, intimacy, light exposure. Your best ideas, charisma, and trading instincts only appear when your body is in sync. I talked about memento mori, memento vivere. You could leave right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. Okay? It's not about fear of death. It's awareness of it, which makes you fearless and efficient. And you operate best when the stakes are real because time is running out. Okay? It's a finite resource. Discipline is freedom. And freedom isn't the absence of structure, it's the mastery of it. Rituals protect you from chaos. Clarity over complexity. Einstein said, if you can't explain it simply, you just don't understand it well enough. And I totally agree. Overthinking in many ways is fear in disguise. So cut every decision down to what's essential to my mission, what's energizing to my body, and what's aligned with my archetype. Simplicity compounds, complexity diffuses. We talk about integration. Let's talk about the shadow. The warrior who denies the shadow becomes a tyrant. So face your darkness, whatever fears you have, and don't reject it. Channel them through purpose. And you're not here to suppress instincts, but refine them into tools. Momentum over motivation. You don't have to feel good to get going. You just have to get going to feel good. So you perform best when in motion. Momentum is sacred. Never let a day end without a forward move in at least one domain. Action clears emotion. And this leads to unparalleled growth through polarity. Tension fuels transformation. You can be both, right? Duality isn't conflict, it's calibration. And true mastery includes holding opposites without collapse. And this creates an amazing flow state because man cannot live without myth. That's what Carl Jung says. So you and the way you process your life, we talk about main character syndrome. I hear that all the time right now. You got to know who you are and keep doing those things consciously. Just live your life as if it's your own cool movie unfolding slowly. And with all of this stuff, I think it's absolutely important to make sure that you are present. Your strength, your charisma, your impact come from being here fully. And you don't need to be perfect at all. That's not at all. You just need to be real. Because the mind is everything, and what you think, you become. That's what the Buddha says. So that's my code. I thought it'd be interesting to share. There's a lot of tidbits here. I'll link some different episodes that go into detail about some of these ideas. But I'll see you guys in the next one.